Vine started laughing as she put her hand on her stomach. She laughed loudly as she said, for her friend Sana got irritated, who said, "Come on, I actually saw you. There's no denying in it." Vine, who says I'm denying it? I did walk with him because we both were going the same ways. Otherwise, why would I even walk with him? Don't you know me? Sana, you are like this. I know there's something going on between you two. For why would you even walk with him so close? You almost joined hands. But I can't understand why would you choose that nerd over anyone else? Vine slapped her arm, getting serious, as she said, "Why? Nerds aren't human? I can't even walk with him?" Sana, did you just take his side? Vine was sitting with her whole friend group, and they started staring at her when they thought she was taking his side. She looked around to see everyone looking at her with suspicion, for she sighed and said, "Why are we discussing this topic? He doesn't have to be my boyfriend for me to take his side, right?" Sana, okay, my helping angel. Yes, it is your responsibility to make everyone happy, isn't it? Let's make the assignment now. Sana noticed that she was feeling uncomfortable about the joke, so she dropped it. They started making the assignment in the group that they were supposed to do in the first place. But you know what happens when you try to study in groups. After getting done with the assignment, they bid goodbyes to each other, and Vine got out of the school from gate 3, while her friends got out from other gates. There, she met with Jungkook. As soon as Jungkook saw her, he got close to her, so she immediately moved and walked away from him. He got to know what must be the reason. As she walked a few steps, she felt bad and ran to him to hold his hand. She smiled, looking at him as she thought, "I don't care now." While Jungkook was looking at her with widened eyes. But when she smiled to him, his confusion went away, and he smiled from his heart as he asked her, "What is this, huh? You're starting to make me feel butterflies." She put her head on his shoulder as she said, "I just want to do it. Can I not?" Jungkook smiled as he put his hand on her head, patted her hairs, for he said, "I'm all yours." They both smiled and walked, while her resting her head on his shoulder all the time. Wine, aren't you tired of pretending all this? Jungkook, I don't think it's a big deal. As long as we're together, we don't need to tell others. Wine, you're so good thinking like that. I don't want to do this anymore. Jungkook, you know you have to, because if others get to know, your parents will shift you from this school too. for I will never let that happen. Wine. You have to do this all because of me. I'm sorry, she said while actually feeling bad for him. But for Jungkook, it was really nothing. Jungkook patted her hairs again as he said, "Don't say that again, okay? I'm happier than ever with you. You don't need to worry about anything, and me especially." Jungkook, don't you know who I am? Should I show you my tattoos to remind you? Wine loved hearing him, as she felt good spending time with him, regardless of the fact that they have to hide it. Wine, by the way, I won't mind looking at your tattoos. He laughed as he whispered in her ears, "Let's hurry back to the home." She blushed, getting all excited to spend time with him at his home. Jungkook, you asked your parents for permission, right? Wine, yes, I did. I told them I will be late as I have an important assignment to do. Jungkook smirked and whispered in her ears, "Let's run then. The one who loses will have to grant a wish of the other." He said and started running immediately, without letting her even react to it. She looked at him getting far away, so she ran behind him as she screamed, "This is cheating! Get back!" Fine. Get back when I'm saying nicely. I'm not running like this, she said, and while folding her arms, she sat down on the side of the road. As he kept running, and she knew she wouldn't beat him at this rate. He looked behind while running, and immediately stopped as he saw her sitting. He ran back to her while saying, "Okay, I'm sorry. Let's go together." As soon as he got close enough to her, she got up and started running, while saying, "Don't forget the loser will have to grant a wish." Jungkook, wait, this is cheating. She didn't stop, so he ran behind her. And as he was already tired of the running, he lost to her. After reaching home, he kept repeating, "You're a cheater. You lost. I'm the winner." Wine. Cheater? Yeah, losers always say that. But that doesn't change the fact that I am the winner. Jungkook sighed as he sat down on the bed and said, "Why am I even doing this when I know I can't win against you? So what's your wish?" She wrapped her hands around his neck and stood between his legs as she said, "You will take off your clothes and I will." She got close to his ear and whispered, "I will kiss your tattoos." She licked his ear as she said that, sending goosebumps to Jungkook as he smirked widely when he looked at her. He held her neck and immediately put her on the bed. And while coming upon her, he said, "As your wish, your highness." He took off his tie, then unbuttoned his shirt. As he got to the second button, she held his hands and unbuttoned the shirt herself. as he looked at her while smirking. She looked at his body. Her mouth made an O as she ran her hand through his arms. Jungkook, you like them? They're all yours, my lady, he said as he came upon her to peck her lips softly. As she did it back, he brushed his fingers through her hairs, for she ran her hands on his back. He held her moving hands and pinned them on the bed as his lips moved towards his neck. She closed her eyes and felt the passion given by him. After a few minutes, he lied down on the bed beside her while taking heavy breaths. He smiled, looking at her, as he asked her, "So, what's your wish now?" Wine. I told you that already, didn't I? Jungkook. Really? That's all? Why was there a need to make a wish for this? I would have done it anyways. Wine. Really? I thought you wouldn't, considering we're just high schoolers. Jungkook scoffed and said, "We're 18 plus. You're still afraid to ask me for that?" Wine. But I never did it once, so I was nervous. Wait, what would you ask me to do if mine looks so simple and easy to you? Jungkook. I would have asked you to spend the night with me together, he said, smirking. For she should have been feeling butterflies, but actually, she felt sad, considering that they can't do it because of her strict parents. She didn't say anything, but he understood her from her expressions. He smiled and put his arm under her neck while embracing her head in his chest. He hugged her and said, "It's okay. I will wait for my lady to grow big and old until her parents remove the restrictions from her. We'll grow old together and then we'll be able to do everything we want. I can wait as long as you spend little times with me, just like today." Her core tightened from the blushing as her cheeks were about to burst out. She smiled and putting her hand on his vest, she hugged him. They stayed together like this for some time, feeling grateful to have someone like each other.